Have you ever asked yourself how comes the rich get richer and the poor get poorer as it pertains to property? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about in this video. Good day guys, I'm Samuel I Can Win and welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, it's great to see you here, and if you've been here before, it's good to see you back. Throughout this video, we're going to talk about how the rich get richer and how the poor get poorer as it pertains to property. Now to start with, I'm going to share with you something my dad used to teach me when I was really young, and this is kind of what started off my journey in asking myself the question, how comes the rich get richer and the poor get poorer as it pertains to property? So my dad used to tell me, probably from around the age of 4, maybe even earlier, that anything someone can do, someone else can do too. So he used to give me all of these examples. So one of the examples I remember the most, we might be watching Michael Jackson on the television. So my dad might ask me, how many ears has he got, son? And I'll say, he's got 2 ears, dad. And my dad might say to me, so how many eyes has he got, son? And I'll be like, dad, he's got 2 eyes. And my dad would say, how many ears have you got, son? And I'll be like, dad, I've got 2 ears. And dad might ask me then, like, how many eyes have you got, son? And I'll be like, dad, I've got 2 eyes. So my dad was trying to teach me this concept from very young, that if somebody's able to achieve something, then so am I. And this kind of really started my journey in terms of helping me have the mindset. Now, one of the challenges with having that kind of strong mindset and understanding and believing that if something's possible for some, it's possible for all, is the actual reality that not every single person has what every other person has. So you have to be the person who's got the right kind of mindset before you can even really start to try and tackle the world of how to change things and change circumstances in your life and how to start to obtain things that you don't have if you're on the wrong side of the pendulum. But regardless of that, what my dad was trying to teach me whilst I was at such a young age is that I have what it takes. And I want to start this video off by helping you understand that you have exactly what it takes. You have what it takes to shift if you're in the poor world into the rich world. And you have what it takes to shift if you're in the rich world even to the even more rich world. But like I said, in this video, we really want to touch more so why the rich get richer and why the poor get poorer as it pertains to property. I then came across the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and you know, some of you might have seen on my family channel where I actually gave 10 books for 2020 success, and Rich Dad Poor Dad was just one of those books. And in the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, we shared the concept of how if you're someone who doesn't have wealth, or you don't have riches, and you don't even have the educational system to help you get that wealth and get those riches, you can actually make changes to your life in order to make it happen, such as understanding investment, such as all these other things that people do in order to shift their circumstance. But what I want to share with you is one of the key precepts that comes out of the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that concept is mind your own business. Now the reason I'm sharing that is because right inside of the concept of mind your own business hides the actual principle and key why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer as it pertains to property. Are you ready for that key? Well, if you're ready for the key, I'm going to share with you. The key is leverage. Now this word leverage, most people kind of don't even understand what the word leverage means. I actually had a call earlier on today where I was asked by the individual on the phone, what does the word leverage mean to you? So I started breaking down exactly what the word leverage means to me. Leverage is having the power or ability to control a resource which is much greater than the current resource you have. So just as an example, the exact same example I gave to the guy on the phone today, well, if you're buying a house with a buy-to-let mortgage and you have to put down a 25% deposit. So let's say it's a £200,000 house and you're putting down a £50,000 deposit. Because you're going to leverage and get the power of a mortgage in order to take over the other 75% of the particular property price, the 150,000 part. What that means is with your £50,000, you're able to control an asset worth £200,000, even though you're only only bringing to the table one fraction, 1/4 of the whole property price. So that's a clear example of leverage, and I need you to understand that as we keep going through this video. Now, the reason this is important is because leverage does not only occur with the buying power of a mortgage or the buying power of a car on a lease or HP, but leverage actually takes place every single day. A further example that I gave to the gentleman I spoke to on the phone earlier today was the simple fact that many employers leverage the skills, the time, the talent of their staff. So for example, you might be an individual working on a £30,000 a year salary, but potentially generating close to maybe even $1 million for your actual employer. And that is the power of leverage. It wasn't until I actually started my own business that I really started to engage and understand this whole concept of leverage. How in certain instances, I might hire a virtual assistant and ask them to do a menial task, and that will cost a certain amount of money. But the funniest thing is the actual task being completed might result in me generating a certain other amount of revenue. And this is how the concept of leverage became realer and realer to me. So in this world we're talking about of how the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, one of the key concepts is the fact that wealthy people tend to utilize the power of leverage way more than people who are poor. To be honest with you, what generally happens is wealthy people leverage and poor people get leveraged. So if you think about that as a core concept, that will help you to start to understand how the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Now, just to give you a few kind of bonus takeaways, here's a few ways where the rich people generally find that they can leverage, which poor people do not. One of them is time. They get other people to work in the time that they could be working also or instead. The second is money. So rather than using your own money in order to do certain transactions and business endeavors, you can use the money of others through means of investors, etc., etc. And the third one that I'll share is talent. So for example, if you have a clear understanding that you don't have all the talent in the world, it starts to make sense to leverage other people with other talents. This is the reason why the person was on the phone to me this morning, because that gentleman was actually looking for someone with talent in the business and property strategist world in order to help him move forward on his journey. Now, what I'd like you to do is put in the comments, how are you going to start leveraging as you move forward in your life as a result of watching this video? I'm very, very interested in finding out what you're going to do in order to maximize your opportunities as you go forward in life. That brings us to the end of this video. If you found this video of value, what I want you to do is hit the subscribe button, and at the same time, why don't you click that bell notification to make sure you get all the updates as we release content. Side by side with that, press the like button if you like the content in this video. If you're struggling with answering the question about how are you going to leverage moving forward in your life, then what I want you to do is go and watch this video right here where I speak specifically about how you can build credibility via taking action. This is Sammy I Can Win. I'm signing out. Have a great day.